What's going on, everybody?
Hey. I don't see anybody here yet, but we just wait a couple of minutes.
Let's see here.
Got a couple of people here. When you come on in, say hello.
Let us know where you are.
So we can say hi back and let us know where you're chiming in from.
We got...
hello from Denmark. Hey, Peter.
How you doing?
How are you?
And we got...
Hey there.
Home Services.
Hey, Kelly and Dorian.
How you doing?
Thank you for being
South
here.
Florida in the house today.
South Florida in the house, yeah.
So,
who else
we're going to give it a few minutes to see who gets here.
Few seconds.
Oh.
Not minutes. Minutes is a long time. We got 4 people. Let's see who else comes in. I am here. Click on that. I am fine. We're doing great.
Great. It's a great Sunday.
Yes. How's the weather over there in Denmark?
Living out loud. Hey, how you doing, Will and Cinderella?
Guys.
How are you guys?
Hey, welcome. Thank you for being here, guys.
Let's see. Working on closing up condos.
Ahead of the storm, yes.
Yeah.
We just saw that today. That is one thing that I'm so, and I mean this with all the love, but that's one thing I do not miss about South Florida is the storms, because as most of you guys know, I am like already high strung.
Yeah.
And when it was time for the storms, I would just be a mess. So I do not miss that, but you guys are in my prayers. So make sure you stay safe.
Yep. All right. So we're going to talk about a couple different things, and then we're going to bring our special guest on.
We have an awesome guest.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, camp over.
The camp over.
So the camp over, we have quite a bit of people already signed up.
Yes. Yes.
There's still some spaces available.
There are some spaces available. Before we can open up some more spaces, we do have a couple of spaces left before we can open up more. And we want to make sure we fill those. So if you send me an email or a message and you haven't filled out your registration, please do that. Even if you're getting a camp, a cabin or a tent, please do that. It's important that you do that. And in the spot where it says what's your rig size, just put cabin or tent. Or if we do have a couple of people who are renting RVs, just put on there to be determined. We just want to get an accurate head count. And for those of you who do have rigs, we want to make sure that the campground puts you guys in the correct spot, because we have some big rigs coming. So we want to make sure that we let the big rigs go in the larger spaces, but we are going to be all together in the same area, and I can't wait. Glam Fam Campers. Hey guys.
Thanks for being on.
I saw your race. Congratulations. I am really I give it to you. I don't know if I could ride a bike for 7 miles. I do not know. I wouldn't be able to make it.
So make sure you guys hit that like button.
Yes. Before we get started, it helps our channel so much. As you guys know, we're a growing channel. We're still small, but it helps us. It tells YouTube that you like our content, and it'll show you and other people more of it. So like and comment and go check out some of our videos. We just put out a couple of videos.
Yeah, we just did our last Puerto Rico video from our series. So there's six videos from that journey. They're all in the playlist. You can watch them all at the same time if you want.
I must say, I'm a little sad. I'm a little sad. I want to go back to Puerto Rico.
She said again.
I am. That was the best vacation ever. Just sleeping in a van and waking up on the beach. I can't tell you how freeing and amazing that was.
Besides you and the hills.
Yeah. Well, that besides the hills, but it was perfect. Peter Madsen, I have subscribed. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we have put our guests link in the comments too. Please go check out his channel.
Yep, it's pinned at the top.
Yep, I'm gonna pin it right now.
We're gonna show you that here in a minute. Let's see, who else do we have here? Glam Fam. Ruth, you can do anything. See, she could do it.
I know I can.
It's just her back keeps her from from doing a lot of things. I'll watch your videos a little bit later. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yes, thank
Every little bit helps.
We have it in we put all our Puerto Rico videos in a playlist. We're trying to put them all in a playlist. We're trying to get a little bit organized here, guys. But, you know, if we're going to be real, like.
We'll be arriving late in the evening. Yes.
Yes.
They'll definitely do late checkouts.
Yes, they would do late check-ins, yes.
I mean, check-ins, yeah. Adventure Bandits.
Hey, guys.
How you guys doing?
Hey. So if you see some channels on here like the Adventure Bandits, go check them out. The Adventure Bandits were just in Alaska. That is like,
yes,
it was
pretty epic. It
was breathtaking. Those scenes, man, made me feel like I was right there with you guys. That's on my bucket list, like definitely.
Hey, Crystal. All right, so camp over. Check it out. Make sure that, you know, you go ahead and register so you don't miss your spot.
Yes.
Let's see, what else do we have to do?
We
have our merch. Don't forget, for those of you, you know, I made this store specifically for you guys because we don't really have merch, but you guys wanted it.
Makes you feel like you're back on Puerto Rico with me.
Yeah.
And we do have a Van Life Puerto Rico t-shirt too.
Yep. So the link is down below in the description. Go check it out.
And we do make a very small percentage. It helps us support. We put it right back into the channel so we can keep going on adventures.
Yep. Playing outside over 50. Hello, guys. Yeah. Oh, Rudy, what's up? How you doing? Crystal says I want a shirt.
Why am I
We'll go to the link in the description.
Yes,
that's my daughter. So
I can't pin your comment. I don't know why.
Love the shirt.
You know what? Let me see.
We'll just keep adding it on there.
Oh, I got it. I pinned it. Okay, I pinned it.
All right. So check that out. If you have any questions about the camp over or anything else, you can email Ruth at RVLifeProductions.com and she'll answer you. She'll take care of you. And so, Sunday Night Live.
We're going
to start trying to get these done every Sunday. Sometimes when we travel, they're impossible because literally everything that I have here, I kind of got to break it down to travel and then put it back up. So, and
I don't know why, but since we got T-Mobile, which we're going to speak with the expert here in a few minutes, but we've had it, almost a year?
Almost, yeah.
The first time it has not ever worked like perfectly was at Margaritaville.
Yeah.
This last campground. It was so odd. Like we had to get off early because the signal was terrible and it kept freezing on us. But that's the first time since we got it.
When's the tent camping?
Soon.
So if you guys don't know, one of our viewers.
Soon.
You want to tell the story? You tell it better.
One of our viewers saw one of my Puerto Rico videos, and he thought I was being a little bougie, which I am a little bit. Just because I live in a camper doesn't mean that I can't rough it. He doesn't think that I can last 24 hours in a tent. So he challenged me to tent camp for 24 hours. And I said, not only can I last 24 hours, I'm going to last 48 hours. I might just bite my words, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to reach out to you.
Hey, Glam, how you guys doing?
Hey, guys.
Yeah. I can't wait either because I'm not going to be there.
Yeah.
I'll be in here.
Let's bring our
all right. Guests. So you guys ready? We're going to bring our guests here. He's ready to go down below. And
he's ready to go. Yes.
So he has a YouTube channel. It's called JCristina. And
you guys go check it out.
He talks about a little bit of Starlink, a lot of Starlink, camera, photo, video, and
he's the who's who of Starlink. It's where we get all our information from. And so if you have any questions at all,
put them in the comments.
Put them in the comments.
And we're going to try to, go ahead and get your answers that you need. So, all right. So here he is. Hey, how are you?
Hey.
How are you doing, guys? Thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for being on.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for being on. We have a lot of our subscribers, of course, as you know, are RVers, and they're always looking for the best internet.
Yeah, because I mean, there's so many options with hotspots and this and that. So when Starlink came along, that became a thing. But a lot of people kind of got turned off, and then you talk about a lot of those reasons in a lot of your videos. So I figured it was great for you to be on here for these guys to understand, check you out. They can go back and check out your videos. And so we'll talk a little Starlink, a little T-Mobile.
Sure. And, yeah, that's right. No, absolutely. Absolutely. We have Starlink now. But the options are starting to grow. You know, my backstory is I started out with DSL, and DSL was like 15 megs down and 1.5 megs up, which is just horrendous. And then finally Starlink became available, and I got on back in the beta days. So I was like, I think my Starlink is like number 2002 or 2020 or something. So it's like I have like one of the first ones of the generation 2 Starlink. So it was just coming out of beta at the time. And so now we're starting to get more opportunity. We have Starlink that you can use if you're traveling. You could use T-Mobile, which works really, really well. You can also use Verizon home internet, which works really well also. And then finally, AT&T just came out with something about a week ago, and that's called AT&T's Air, right? So it's like Internet Air or something like that. So there's now multiple options. AT&T did it because the other two big players are doing it, so they almost had to do it. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to cut out all of the copper and just run things from the tower. So they can just feed, you know, a high-speed internet access to a tower and then hit a whole a whole gamut of people without having to service that copper on the ground. So, but if you're in RV or if you're traveling a lot, I mean, Starlink is probably the best out there for quite some time. And then it started going like downhill. And that was because there was a lot of, I would say it was oversold. As of right now, I think it's getting better. And now that we're seeing a lot more of the version 2 mini satellites in low Earth orbit, that's going to speed things up. And you're going to have a lot more, let's say, a reduced area of like when I'm looking at the map right now, we can see that the entire, let's say, West Coast all the way to the middle US is fully covered. When I say covered, I mean, you could just buy a Starlink right this moment, whereas the East Coast from like center of like Oklahoma on east, it's patchy. So it should get better, and it should get better soon. What is your experience with it? I know you're not using it right now. You went solely, I think, with T-Mobile, right?
T-Mobile, yeah. Yeah, we had it. So when we lived in South Florida, we were on the waiting list. And then when we moved, we missed it. So when I did the whole thing where my buddy in Louisiana, I did it with his address, had it shipped to me. I got Starlink, but it worked really well at the beginning. And then, like you were saying, the more and more people that got on it, the slower and slower it got. I mean, a 20-minute video for our channel would take, 5-6 hours to upload?
Or more, overnight.
And it wasn't even 4K, it was just HD.
Right.
So,
yeah, problem. Yeah. Because the speed, so when I first came on board with Starlink, I was getting about 310 megs down and anywhere from about 30 to 40 megabits up. And now we're sitting 10 megs to about 20 megs, 20 megabits up, which is, half speed of the way it was before. But that's still pretty good compared to what a lot of people that are in RVs are experiencing with the mobile connection. They're getting like 5 megabits up and 7 megabits up, which, is not great for broadband, but I mean, it is still pretty quick. Now I have T-Mobile just like you also. We have all three. We have AT&T, T-Mobile, as well as Starlink. And the T-Mobile right now is doing really quite well. I'm getting not as fast on the download speed, about 100 to 125 megabits down, but I'm getting up to like 50 and 60 megabits up, which is, 3 times faster, 4 times faster than what I'm getting with Starlink. But, the way I look at this is I think it's just simply going to get faster and faster as we see those you know, the deployment of the faster satellites up there. And at that point, we're going to see most likely an opening up of the entire country, because where you are right now, you can't even use Starlink, I don't think, because it's not well, you could use it if you were to get it and you were kind of wandering around with it and you paid the $150 to do so. But I don't think in your area, you can't just simply buy it, right?
No.
It's darked out.
We were paying the 100. Well, it was 135 when we paused it, but I know it went up to 150 now.
Yeah, because we had to get the roaming, the
RV package, and then now it's called something else now, right?
Yeah, you have roam and mobile is basically what it is. Mobile's like when you can actually drive around. Roam is like you can take it like wherever you go and just stick it on the ground, and just use it. And that's what, you know, it just depends. Like some RVers are doing that. They just take that unit and then they bring it wherever they go and they stick it on the ground and they use it when they get to their location. But a lot of people are wanting to spend the extra $15, connect the unit to the top of their RV, and now literally have full internet while they're driving coast to coast anywhere, you know, in the US. So, and if you paid an extra $50 and paid $200 a month, not only in the US, no matter where you go, pretty much on the planet, you're going to be able to get internet.
Which is crazy.
Which is absolutely crazy, because now you're not having to worry about, is there a tower close to me? Because your tower is sitting in Leo, in low Earth orbit. It doesn't make a difference. As long as you have accessibility, you can see the sky, you're okay.
Yeah. So, well, and then also now when Starship gets online, the full size, you know, satellites are going to go up, and that's going to make a big difference, I hope. But there's still a little ways away.
A big difference. Yeah, so right now the Falcon 9s were taking about 50 to 55 Starlink 1.5s into orbit. They decommissioned the 1.5s and they went to the 2.0 minis. And in that fairing, the top section of the Falcon 9, they can only hold 22, I believe, of those units. So 22 at a shot, that's it, in comparison to 50 something. But like you were saying, when Starship comes online, they're going to be able to deploy hundreds in every launch, hundreds of them. And they're literally like 2 or 3 times the size and about 4 times the capacity. So it's the equivalent for every one of those. It's equivalent of 4 of them going up. So yeah, it's going to get good really quickly as soon as Starship goes online and doesn't blow up this time, you know? And, you know, so we'll see what ends up happening with that. But yeah, you're 100% right. I'm excited about that. But as of right now, a lot of folks are using T-Mobile and they're using Verizon or the new AT&T Air and getting some really good speeds, especially if you are in a location that has access to a 5G tower. It's just, you don't have that everywhere. And that's where Starlink does really well. If you're in the middle of Nevada, you're literally in a desert somewhere, you're wherever you don't need a tower. You're still going to get high-speed internet. So that's the power of, Starlink in comparison to using, one of the mobile type of networks.
Right. So we have a comment here from this is one of our friends, TNT RV. So I've been following him for before our recent purchase of Starlink. So there you go. Someone else that knows who you are.
That's great.
The on the roof unit is super expensive. Yeah, I haven't priced them. I know newer RVs, that's an option to get them on there.
So some companies are actually installing them right now, and you can pay to have them installed. But honestly, you could pretty much do them yourself. I've done, I do consulting work for people. I don't really talk about it too much on the channel, but if people need, let's say they have like what we have over here, we have a farm and it's a equestrian area, and they have a paddock that's on there 5, 10, 15 acres. So they have the main home, then they have a barn, and they have a paddock, and they're running, let's say, dressage or whatever it is for the horses, and they need to have coverage out there. What I'll do is I'll do consultations to get them not only the Starlink, but then all of the hardware that they need to be able to not only get the home covered, but also get the external coverage too, to either to the barn or to the paddock for the dressage or whatever.
Yeah.
So this has been something I've been doing for some time now, doing the consultation. So it works out really well, because now me knowing this literally inside out from working with it for the last year and a half, I can now help people so they don't have to literally work so hard at trying to figure this out, because the cost now to get a Starlink installed is like $2,500. It's not cheap.
No,
that's like at your home. Yeah, it's not cheap, because people were like, well, we want to do it. We want to do it right. We don't want to do it ourselves. So it's, so normally what I'll do is I'll do the consultation and then let them be able to do it by drawing it all up, so they know exactly what to buy and they know what to get before they even get the Starlink in their home. There's a lot of people who order this, and I'm sure you get it in, you're like, oh, I didn't get that little dongle thing. Now what? Well, now you're waiting on that. Or wait a second, I didn't get that pole. What is that? That's like a mount. I didn't get the mount. Well, I kind of need that. Which mount do I need? Well, where are you going to install it, right? So there's, that's the kind of stuff that I'll usually do for the folks.
Yes.
Yep. Let's see. We have a question for you.
Right there.
What tea are you drinking?
Right now we have Misty Morning and a little bit of Focus. Usually at night, this is night, I'll have some Fireside, because I like that smokiness of the Lapsang tea. But right now we just have some Focus and some of the morning tea from the Dark Moon teas. I've been making those Dark Moon teas now for about 2 years. Matter of fact, when on the channel, people asked me for it, just like they were asking you for your shirt. Same thing. They're like, what tea are you drinking? I'm like, I tell them, because I infuse my own tea, I brew my own tea, but I also created my own tea brand, all from organic ingredients, because I found out that a lot of the teas that people were drinking are like irradiated. They have like all kinds of junk, and they're not, so I ended up getting all of the ingredients in that are non-radiated. They are organic, sourced really well. And then I started making these teas, and people love them. And now they're like everywhere. So Dark Moon teas. So
if someone wants your teas, they go to your website, right? Could you tell us what your website is?
Yeah, you could go over to JCristina.com, JCristina, no H, CRISTINA.com. And just go to shop, and
I'll put it on here.
All right. Yeah. JCristina.com. And, on there, you're going to see all of my teas, all of the products I've invented for the photography and video industry, because I am a DP. I'm a director of photography. I do work and episodic TV. So that's kind of like my main thing. And then, of course, I have the channel, and then all the rest of the side stuff, like the consultation business, as well as the teas and, all the products I sell, the B&H photo and video and Amazon, so it's always something. And then the book over here, back, the whole, as you can see it, maybe right over here, Digital Fort Knox, how to build a digital Fort Knox, backing up your digital life. I did that because a lot of people here, like you, that are creators, are like, well, I have like a whole bunch of these little drives, and they're piling up. They're this high, like I can't find nothing anymore. So I ended up building my own RAID server, which is an unRAID server. And I took people along with me on that journey, and I wrote a book about it as I was finishing it. So that was that whole thing about doing that. It worked out really well. So now all of my stuff is literally in one spot, and I can access it. I don't have to worry about having a pile of drives,
Wow, that's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we I've always done video work, weddings, commercials, and stuff for years, for like 20 years.
So
and I never got serious about it, because it's just raising kids, whatever.
Right
now, I'm starting to do it more. Where I just finished a gig for a client, shooting some work a couple weeks ago, trying to get started a Atlanta filmmakers group that people from Atlanta area come and get together. So we're trying to grow that part of it for myself too. But
yeah, that's good. And then you'll notice that you have gigs and gigs and gigs and gigs of of data every time you capture something. It doesn't matter what it is. Now we start shooting 4K, and now all of a sudden it extrapolates from that. It gets even it's nuts. We go from, let's say, something that would be like 2 gigs is all of a sudden now 8 and 10 gigs on every single thing. So it's just hard drive space is, even though it is cheap, it's still, you need to be able to put it all together in one spot.
Well,
like I said,
I bought a
It's hard to find.
12 terabyte, just regular Western digital. It fell over because we live in an RV. Lost everything. It was the worst. Because
Yeah, that hurt. That was like 6 months of content.
Yeah.
I did cry. I cried.
So that's the thing. Like for the, like I was saying with the Unraid server that I built, if that was to happen and one drive blew up, you know, because of the impact, normally what happens is you end up losing data when the hard drives are spinning, obviously, because it's a mechanical drive, it knocks over, it hits, and then it'll actually ding the platters in there, right, and screw it up. Whereas if you were writing to that hard drive, and there's a whole bunch of them inside of your Unraid server, that hard drive would be rendered useless, and you would have not lost a single thing because it's still everywhere else at the same time, so to speak. I
gotta get to that point, but not yet.
No, absolutely, it's.
All right, so we have Peter Madison says talking about customer service for Starlink. How they love it.
I feel like that sometimes.
Listen, we've had storms where all of a sudden my internet just like Starlink goes out, it will not connect. I have to like literally like if it was brand new, I had to reset everything, and that happened to me twice, which is the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
And I put in a ticket because you got to put in a ticket.
Right.
So,
and then it takes a week, or it takes like days and days before you get. The only time it should reset like that is if it was turned on and off, on and off, on and off. I think it's 3 or 6 times in a row. That will factory reset it. But if it gets just turned on and off once or twice, it shouldn't do that unless there's a problem. So chances are there was something going. Not have reset it to factory again.
Right.
It was a storm, so who knows? Playing outside over 50s. Asking, where are you based out of?
I'm in Palm Beach, South Florida, Palm Beach.
He's in Palm Beach.
Yeah, so just south east of the lake. So if you see Lake Okeechobee, southeast of that, that's where I'm.
So he lives north of where we used to live.
Yeah.
From Lake
right. I used to do a lot of photography and videography, and when I first moved here, this was in '99. I started working for this 20 minutes up the road from me, down, east of me. And I was working there for probably about 5-6 years or so. Come to find out, he ends up, becoming the president of the United States. That's Donald Trump. So, and I used to work, at Mar-a-Lago for many, many years, doing a lot of galas and, all this type of stuff, capturing a lot of events. So
that must have been amazing.
it's kind of weird, it was no problem going in and out. And then all of a sudden, once he started, getting into the whole politics thing, then all of a sudden I couldn't get in. It was, like you had to go through like Secret Service and all kinds of stuff. So whereas before it was just like, you'd just be like, oh yeah, Joe, hey, how you doing? Come on. And that was it.
So Venture Bandits, they have a question. Do you see the price of Starlink going up again?
I have a feeling that it's going to stabilize now. I don't think it's going to go up anymore. The reason being is they're going to be adding a lot more satellites, so they're going to be able to have a lot more people. And that was for a while there. We really thought that they were going to put a data cap at 1 terabyte, and they ended up not doing it. They kind of reneged on it, and they got rid of the whole data cap. So there is no cap. It's unlimited, true unlimited. So that's really good. But I don't think they're going to go up any higher because, like we were talking about before, T-Mobile, Verizon, as well as AT&T, Air now have alternatives to Starlink.
Right. So they got
they're going to have competition, number one, even though it's a different type of competition, because once again, you need to be able to have access to those towers. If not, you don't have anything. Whereas with Starlink, you can have anywhere in the middle of the ocean somewhere. You can have, internet at 40,000 feet, or you could have, internet on an island or in the top of a mountain in Alaska or something. So, you can have internet anywhere, which is just unbelievable for the price. So I don't think it's going to go up, but I don't think it's going to go down. I think it's going to stabilize for right now until they got all of these new version 2s up there. So we'll see what ends up happening with it. But I think that that's when it's going to end up happening.
So let's talk about something else. T-Mobile, right? So you made a video where you connected it to an external antenna, and I think that's something I'm looking to do. I actually was looking for the video on I watched it once, but I was trying to watch it again, and I couldn't find it. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't look in the right place.
I'll see if I can find it while we're doing this.
Yeah.
So he made a video where he shows you how to put an external antenna and connect it to your T-Mobile home internet, and you get better service from that. And I think it'll work with Verizon, right? And the others.
Yeah, it works with Verizon. It'll work with AT&T. It'll work with anything. It is so there. I tested 3 different antennas. The 2 antennas that we used that worked out really well was like a 4x4 MIMO antenna, and then we did a 4x4 also, but an LP antenna, which is a log antenna. Anyways, you don't have to get into all the technicalities. The bottom line is here, once you connect let's say your T-Mobile, the 4 pigtails, which are 4 antennas that will go inside of the unit. Once you connect that outside of your home or outside of your RV or outside of wherever, and you point it to the tower, now all of a sudden you get full strength. So for me, I ended up going from it was right around 70 megabits down and about anywhere from about 10 to 15 megabits up. With that connection and dialing it in and directing it, and I teach everyone how to do it in that video. Once you do have that established and you have that dialed in, I ended up getting 150 to 160 megabits down, and I topped off at about 60 megabits up. So we're averaging right around about 40 megabits, but I top out at 60 megabits up. Now, bear in mind here, this is an LTE connection. This is not a 5G connection. This is LTE. So to be able to do that, it's unbelievable. Matter of fact, that antenna that I use, if you go to jcristina.com/antenna, once again, jcristina.com/antenna, it'll take you to the exact antenna that I used. And I'll also see if I can find.
It's something similar to this, right?
That is so that is actually 2 antennas. The one that you need has 4 antennas. So that is an LP antenna, a log antenna, but you need the one that is like it's either square or I can't share the screen, but I thought I'd show you. But it's either square or it's got the same type of antenna like that, but it's got 4 of those antennas that you direct. Let me see. I think I have it here. I'm going to see if I can. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can find it for you, and then I'll send you over a link, because this ended up being really a very popular video, because it helped out a lot of people, because a lot of people are using T-Mobile, but they want to get the most out of it. And when you're driving around, I had some people, they consulted with me, and I showed them how to attach it to their router, but then also how to stick it outside of their RV, and then how to point it based on using a cell mapping utility. And matter of fact, I talk about that in the video, and it's really powerful, because now you can see where the towers are. Are they 4G? Are they LTE? Are they 5G? Pointed in the right direction. Yeah, and then you're golden. Let me see if I can find this. There's if for some reason I don't see it.
Yeah, no problem. I think like for me, I would put it on my ladder with an extension pole. Yeah. And not leave it there while I'm traveling, but I could take it down, put it up, kind of like if it was Starlink. And I think it'll work out pretty good.
Absolutely. Because then you just point it in the right direction, and that's it. I mean, you could like I said, even if you take it on a campground or wherever, no problem. Look up the exact location, in the application where the nearest tower is. Point it at that tower, and you are pretty much golden. You will get not only faster speeds, but you're also going to get lower latency, and then you're also going to get less dropouts, because you're not going to have to worry about the signal going through the camper, going through metal, going through any type of construction, because it's outside. So it makes it really, really easy.
Speaking of latency, do you mind explaining for maybe some of those that might not know what that is? And I know it works like with Starlink, it's a big deal.
So latency is basically an easy way to think about latency is, remember the old ping pong game, right? Remember the old ping pong back at Atari, where you'd have the little ball and then you have like two little things that would go bing, bong, back and forth, right? So what ends up happening is when you're sending out data, right, it's sending out the data and then sending you back an acknowledgement saying, hey, I got it. And then you send out data and then it sends back, hey, I got it. You send out data and then says, hey, I didn't get that one. Can you resend it? And you're like, okay, no problem. It sends it again. That's basically how the internet works. Let's say this is very simplistic, right? But latency is how much time does it take for you to send that data and get that reply back, right? And the lower the latency, the better it is, period. Just think about latency is very, very important. For example, if you're doing a Zoom conversation, right? If you have very high latency, all of a sudden you might start pixelating and turning into like this Minecraft character or something, right? Which is not cool. So having low latency is great. Whereas like if you have a fiber connection, your latency is probably about 5 milliseconds, 10 milliseconds. If you have a cable connection like Cox or someone like that, that cable will probably be about 10 milliseconds to 15 milliseconds. Well, if you're dealing with, for example, HughesNet or Viasat, which are satellite, but they're way up, extremely high, let's say at 20,000 kilometers, that latency is very excessive because it takes a long time for that data to reach up there and then back down. So you might have latency, it's like 100 or 150 milliseconds.
Right.
But with Starlink, what's really great about it is the latency is only about 30 milliseconds, sometimes 25, sometimes 40, somewhere around there. If you're in a hard spot where there's not a close satellite, you might see 50 milliseconds, but that's still not bad. It's still usable. So latency is very important. Starlink is the thing that fixed all of it when it came to satellite connections. And the way it did it is the satellites are sitting at 150 kilometers from Earth. So they're very close to Earth. So the amount of time it takes the data to come up and down is very quick.
Right.
So that's where you get this lower latency. And the latency is going to get lower and lower now that we're going to see, like you were talking about, those version 2 satellites up there, because those version 2 satellites are going to introduce even lower latency and they have faster speeds. And my understanding is they're going to drop these satellites down from 550 kilometers, maybe into the 300 kilometer range. So we'll see what ends up happening.
Way closer to the Earth.
So, exactly. So it's going to be less latency.
All right. So we have a comment here. We love our Starlink. The only issue they have is great customer service. Yep.
Customer service has got to be, I have never, ever seen a company ever that had, I shouldn't say worse customer service, but no customer service. Literally where, when you have a question, it would be easier for you to write me and for me to answer you than for you to write into Starlink and put in a trouble ticket and get a response back. It's just, I don't know, it's something that they have to address.
I wonder if they did that purposely so they don't have to.
I think it's so fledgling, right? It's so new that they made it so it's just ticket based. Send in your question. We'll get to it as quick as we can. Let's get as many people with the service and start making some money so we can build out call centers all over the place. That's what I think that they're doing. I don't know because I don't work for them, but it feels that way. And I have a feeling that, like I said, as they get more and more people, I mean, when I came on board, there was like 100,000 people or less. Now we're looking at 1.5 million. That's in a year and a half, less than a year. So it's a big, big, big difference. So I can definitely see 3 million people on Starlink within a year. It's going to double because it's going to exponentiate. That's my personal opinion. So we'll see what ends up happening.
So next question for you. And I know you do this with, and I forgot the name of it, but where you combine both and then
Yes.
because I think that's something that would really work well for people on the road like us, where you have T-Mobile and
Right.
Starlink, because you're
Right.
always going to have something. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I always had a problem streaming, even with Starlink, because if we got any type of weather, rain fade is a thing. And with Starlink, just like any other non-terrestrial connection, okay, it could be your Dish network or your DirecTV or whatever. Rain fade is a major issue because you have all those droplets in the air. It's hard; they refract off each other, and you end up with lower or a worse signal to noise. You basically have a lot of noise, a lot of obstruction. So actually they reached out to me. It's a company. They create, it's called Speedify. And what it basically is, they asked me to try this out, and I did, and it ended up working. So I said, listen, this thing is really working. I'd like to promote it. So they ended up giving me a promo code, and I ended up being able to offer it to everyone on the channel. Matter of fact, if you go to JCristina.com/speed, JCristina.com/speed, you can get like a big discount off it. And the promo code is JCristina. But anyways, so the idea here is you take 2 or 3 or 4 internet connections and then bind them together. You're basically bonding connections, just like you would on a hardware base. If anyone is very technical, you can take multiple feeds, put them together, and now have a faster speed or have redundancy. Well, what they did is majority of I did a lot of tests. Matter of fact, if you go to my channel, I put together a playlist. It's a Starlink playlist. It's about 180 videos on there. And if you search for like tests of routers, I did a lot of testing of hardware routers to solve this, have a solution like what you need, what I need. But I did it through hardware. The problem is with hardware, the bonding is through session base. It's called session base instead of packet base. And if you have a session base, meaning that if we are live right now, the session goes down because Starlink just went down because of rain, let's call it, you have to restart this entire thing, right? Which isn't good. Whereas if you go to packet-based packets, then it doesn't matter, because what it does is instead of just sending a single packet one way or the other, it mirrors the packets and sends the exact same packet down all of your connections. So whichever one gets there first, that's the one that it keeps, and then it just gets rid of the rest. So I started using this. Matter of fact, I'm using it right now, and it just simply works. So I'm actually bonding right now, Starlink and my T-Mobile. Let me see. Yep, they're both bonded with no outages at all. But what's great is, let's say if Starlink went down right now, you wouldn't even know it because it would automatically be feeding through T-Mobile. Right. So this is really great. Like if you're in an RV and you're working on the road and you're sitting at a Zoom meeting, you don't want all of a sudden you're gone. You're doing a presentation. It's like, oh, where'd you go? What's going on? So, that's where a lot of people ended up getting this. And, they're very happy that it actually would work.
It sounds like it's a good solution just for them to balance each other out. And, you always have something.
Exactly. And what's nice is I know you guys were using your phones for a while, right? Yeah. You were using your phones for connection. Yes. What's really cool is you can actually, as long as you can get your signal into your computer, which is kind of easy, right? You can connect to it and then feed it in. You could take this signal, put it into your computer. You could take your Starlink, put it into your computer. You could take your T-Mobile, put it into your computer, and then bond all 3 of them together. And then you can say, I want this to be like a backup. I don't want to use this because this costs me money. I'm not going to don't use this unless you absolutely have to. And that's what it does. So it'll just sit there. It'll keep this kind of in the rears. And if Starlink and T-Mobile went down, then it'll start sending through this. So, it ends up working out really well. And, it's one of those services that, it's just like right now, one of our sponsors just came on board, which is Pure VPN. right? So they're very similar to Speedify, but they don't have that service that allows you to be able to bond things together. So if people are looking for bonding, I say, okay, go and take a look at Speedify. But if you're looking, for example, for a static IP address, because a lot of people that have RVs, they also have CCVs, they have like some type of camera outside, or they have, they're doing something where they need to have a static IP and be able to do port forwarding, then pure VPN is the way to go. Because now for like $2 or $3, they can give you a static IP address and do the port forwarding. And now all of a sudden you're golden, because now you can, watch your Ring camera at home, or, watch the CCD, watch your closed caption, TV that's sitting outside of your RV. You can watch that remotely, from, somewhere else or whatever. So, it just depends on what you're looking for, what you need.
So let's say hello to some more people here. We got Charlie Grace.
Hey,
how you doing? Thanks for being here.
Yes.
Here's my daughter, lives in Tampa. We're currently using T-Mobile and take it on the road with us for the kids.
For kids to use.
Yeah, she's got 2 grandkids, and it keeps them busy.
Yes.
So, well, you know what? T-Mobile is allowing you to do that because they are not geo-locking your device.
Right.
How long that's going to go for, I don't know. But I know a lot of people have been asking about that. They're like, Joe, how much longer do we have that we can take our T-Mobile router wherever we go, just plug it in and just get access? I don't know.
We were at a rally in Tennessee for our, it was a manufacturer of our RV, and T-Mobile had a tent there, and they were setting up, selling them, whatever. And I asked the guy, I'm like, hey, exactly that question. How long is it going to last? He's like, look, T-Mobile, the way they're looking at it, if they don't allow this, they're leaving money on the table, because the RV community is so large that it makes sense to just let them do it. So we'll see. It might change.
I agree. No, absolutely. So that's really great that they're going to do that, and that holds true now with Verizon. If T-Mobile does it, Verizon's going to have to also, and then AT&T is going to have to also, and that is really, really great, because people don't understand how big that is. Because for so many years, we had to use this and pay for data. You don't have to do that anymore. Well, literally for $50 a month, you get unlimited data. So, and then if you want to make a phone call, you could use VoIP. Right? You don't even need to have a data plan. You can be sitting there making phone calls using your data. So
before we got our T-Mobile home internet, we had a hotspot, and they had 100 gigs.
That's it.
And it was the same price as a T-Mobile home internet. So it didn't make sense. When we lived down in South Florida, I actually tried to get the T-Mobile, but it wasn't available at the time.
Right.
So when I moved up here, I noticed that it was available. So, but it's it's been good so far, and sometimes you can get it for $30. They have these
they have
sales and whatever. And
if you have matter of fact, if you have T-Mobile and you have T-Mobile Max, you can get $20 discounts. Your $50 turns to $30, I think, or your $55 turns to $35 or something. Yeah. It's definitely worth it. And then you do the extra $5 by doing the auto pay. And now you're literally down to like $30, unlimited. I mean, how are you going to beat that? $30 unlimited.
You can't beat it, which is why we don't. It's not that we don't like the Starlink anymore, but to us it makes sense. As long as our T-Mobile's working, we have it paused.
Yeah, just save a little money, and
absolutely. Yeah, I get it.
If you guys got any questions, put them down in the comment. He can help you out. Let's see. Charlie here says good internet
is fairly close to oxygen when you are an RVer. Yes, because a lot of, especially if you're a full-time RVer, I would say that the majority of them, that's how they're able to sustain that lifestyle, is by working from wherever they're parked. So that is, I would say, it's a very big important factor.
Yep.
Absolutely.
For sure.
No, absolutely. A lot of people nowadays are working from the road after the whole COVID thing and all the rest of the stuff. People have decided that, even the companies have decided that people can work from home, and to actually do it means that you have to have some type of high-speed internet access. And, honestly, Elon Musk was the first to actually do it. He's gotten millions and millions and millions of dollars from the government The difference is unlike AT&T and a lot of these companies, he actually did it, and he did bridge that digital divide of the haves and the have-nots, which no other company has been able to do. We just got, matter of fact, in my neighborhood, we've had fiber at the can over here at this D-Slam at the box when you drive in for the last 15 years, but they still don't have fiber into any of the homes in the community.
Oh, wow.
And the reason being is there's 250 lots because these are 5-acre lots. They can't justify the cost in doing so. We just had them put in an offer to us along with Bluestream and Hotwire, and AT&T, they literally want to take this fiber and go hang it on these old rickety poles instead of burying it. I mean, these people are as cheap as they come. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're getting a ton of subsidy from the US government, and they just take it, they stick it in their coffers, and they do not help us, the people that are in the rural areas, RVers, anyone that's traveling, anyone that's, out there in the outskirts. They just want to service the people that are in the cities, and that's it. They don't want to service anyone that's in the rural areas.
When we lived in Lake Worth, I remember going to Costco and they're like, "Oh, UVerse, we want to upgrade." And then when you go look at it, it's exactly what you had.
Yeah.
That you deal with. And I'm like, you know what? I'd rather stay with what was it that we had? Comcast.
Comcast.
These Comcast are a little better.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Peter
Comcast is cable,
Yeah. Yep. Peter answered.
What about using P-Link?
P-Link. I don't know what what is P-Link. Peter, help me out.
Put in the comments. Let us know.
What is
let me know.
All right, guys. Make sure that you guys hit that like button.
Make sure you go subscribe to JCristina. He has tons and tons and tons of information, a wealth of videos on Starlink, on SpaceX, anything you need to know about cameras. As a matter of fact, I just bought myself a new camera and I watched his video. What is it?
You don't even know?
No, it's the Sony ZV.
Oh, the ZV-1? The ZV-E1 probably.
Yes, because I had a
DJI.
I'm going to try not to get emotional.
DJI Pocket 2.
And I loved it. I loved it because it was so small and convenient. It was better than my phone. And I got on a plane and it fell out of my purse. I was crushed by the time I realized it.
Somebody's enjoying it.
I was crushed. But I said, you know what? I'm going to try a small camera. And I watched your video and I can't wait. It should be getting here any day now.
So you got the ZV-1 or did you get the ZV-E1?
No, she got the ZV-1F.
I got the ZV-1F.
Oh, ZV-1F. Gotcha.
She's punished because she lost the other one.
That's a great camera. We have one of those, matter of fact. And it's a really good camera. It's a good camera. It has a built-in lens. Lens comes in and out. You don't have to worry about getting, other additional lenses for it. You can't zoom in as far as you can with the ZV-1, but it doesn't matter. Use your feet. That's your zoom.
I just want something really handy just to vlog. I do have my own side business, so it's just something just to go on Facebook, just to post, little vlogs. So it's not anything elaborate. So I think it's going to be perfect for what I needed.
Yeah, I think it'll be really good.
Yeah,
it'll be good. It's a great video camera. It does a good job for sure.
So we got some people here thanking you. Mm-hmm. Those who glamp together are friends from Ohio.
Yes.
Let's see, TNT.
Great information. Thank you, JCristina.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Amp to Glamp.
Great discussion, learning a lot. Well, you guys go check out his channel because he's got tons of videos.
Yeah, any questions that you have, just ask. I mean, like I said, I've been doing this for like about 1.5 years on the Starlink side. Months on the T-Mobile side, but I dove really deep into the T-Mobile. So I've torn down the routers and put them back together, kind of thing, to be able to get these external antennas to work and all of the testing, all the stuff. So any kind of questions that you have, let me know. Mesh networks, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's
and by the way,
that's what I do.
not every Friday, but when he can, he goes live.
Yes.
And he does exactly what we're doing here, and he answers a bunch of questions.
Yes.
He'll give you advice.
Yes.
It's a great resource. Listen, I'm pretty knowledgeable with tech stuff.
Yeah, and
but there's some times where I'm like, I don't know, so you don't know everything. So
no, absolutely. And that's the one thing that I really like about the YouTube community. And I'm sure you've experienced the same thing. I mean, we have like about, I don't know, 70 some thousand people on the channel now. And the community, the people, like, even if I get something wrong, which I don't really care. If I'm wrong, that's great. Tell me what it is so that we can all learn, because we learn together, and I can't tell you how much learning I have done based on me teaching. Right. So I'll teach something, and then someone that even has more knowledge than I will come back and say, oh, you can do it this way instead. I'll be like, okay, great. And then I'll put it in the description, or I'll do another video, a follow-up or something. So, we all learn together. And I think that's one thing that's really great about the community. It doesn't matter which community, you're on, but just YouTube, Instagram, all of these communities, they get a lot of like-minded people together. And what I've noticed too is like people that have very similar thought process, right? That have similar values, similar people, kind of, I guess, are like magnets. They come to the channel. So I literally, I've said this, I've always said that I'm absolutely blessed because I have not had to ban someone. Listen, there's 70 some thousand people. I haven't had to ban someone from the channel for months and months.
Awesome.
That's amazing. Considering some of these videos have like 1,000 messages on it, that's just unbelievable. So people are very, very nice. Like I said, they kind of gravitate towards you. Like, for example, with your channel, people that are like-minded will gravitate towards your channel. They're going to be very helpful to you. And if you don't know something, they'll help you and you can help them back and forth. Same thing with my channel. I like it. It's really, really, it's a powerful thing. For sure.
So that's something about the RV community.
Yes.
A lot of these guys here that are in the chat and rest of our viewers, when you're in an RV and you're in a campground and something goes wrong, someone's there. They're gonna have your back.
Always.
On the side of the road. Like it's a different, just like you're saying, it's a different kind of community that everyone helps each other and they just love having fun.
Yeah, that's great.
So Peter says he meant Peplink.
Oh, Peplink. Yeah, so Peplink routers are fantastic. You can do what you can do with the Speedify, like I was telling you about, but you can do it on a hardware level base. But with Peplink, the reason why I don't promote it as much, even though they are awesome. So if I was building out something for a commercial setup, I would probably go with the Peplink. Maybe I'll pick up like a Peplink 20X or, something like that, a Balance 20X or something, and then put it together with different modules and all kinds of other stuff. So you can do the same thing, bonding stuff together on a packet level base, but it's going to cost like $500 for the router, $200 some for a module, another $50 some a month, and another, it's like another. The time you're done, it gets up there closer to, $800, $900, $1,000 for a decent setup. So that's why I don't, a lot of times, like when I build out my mesh network, I couldn't build it out, with anything. And I ended up building my mesh network out with TP-Link. The reason being is a lot of people that are watching me are trying to do it on a budget. People don't have just like a ton of money just to go blow anymore, right?
Yep.
So I said, you know what? I'm going to build this thing out with a TP-Link, which is reasonably cost. There's not a lot of, it doesn't cost too much. And I ended up making this mesh network that was indoor as well as outdoor. That's one of my biggest videos, I think. I don't know. You can look that up too in that list of Starlink videos. But anyways, and I built the whole thing out. It's been running for well over a year now, internally and externally. And I have full internet access over the entire 5 acres, outdoor, indoor. So,
which is great. I mean, 5 acres is a long way to cover compared to like what your little router can do.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
So all about the banks, great information. Venture Bandit, thanks for the info. Good stuff. Playing outside over 50. Excellent live. And by the way, they have their live coming up right after ours. So make sure you guys go
Anybody who's on here, go check them out. And guys, if you want some more of this great info, don't forget, I pinned a link. I pinned his channel. Go check out and go subscribe to JCristina. Good stuff. He's on live most Fridays because he does have a life.
And he's not by himself. Sometimes it's his wife.
Yes. So well, his better half.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. One that gives me the hardest time and kicks me under the table.
Yeah.
She's here.
I did too. I did too.
There you go. She's like, it's time.
We gotta keep you straight. We gotta keep you guys straight.
Oh,
right?
look at this, my brother.
No,
listen, you can watch the replay,
You can watch the replay, Master of None.
Well, listen, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to put you down below and close up, and we'll see you in a minute. Well, guys, hope this was informative for you, and like for me,
it was important because that's one of the things that we struggle with as full-time RVers is getting, and as being content creators, as a lot of you guys are, it's having reliable internet, especially if you work from home, if you work from wherever you are. That's really important. Really important.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, we figured, I'm going to be doing that upgrade to the T-Mobile home internet with the antenna.
Yeah.
And then once we get Starlink, it starts working better. I'm probably going to do the Speedify and mesh it together, and that way we have both wherever we go.
Right.
So,
and don't forget, go check out his channel because, like he said, he has tons of informative videos. So I guarantee you, if you have a question about Starlink or T-Mobile, he's got the video for it.
Yeah. And don't forget, our last Puerto Rico video was out. Go check it out. It's the last one. So Ruth got sad twice when we were there, and then when she saw this video. So there's 6 videos now on the playlist. So make sure you check that out. Check out the website if you guys need information on anything else. We're the campover merch, whatever.
Check out our merch. Yes.
We thank you for being on here.
Yes, and don't forget, if you're going to come to the campover and you haven't filled out the registration, please do that so we can get you in the right spot. We have about 60 people so far, and we're so excited because I'm working on the agenda, and I want to tell you guys so bad, but Adrian doesn't want me to. But you guys know I can't keep a secret. But I'm letting out some of the prizes and some of our sponsors, and I'm so excited because I just can't wait to camp with my friends.
Yep. So and that one, hasta la próxima.
On to the next one, guys.